Okay, so today we're going to talk about comparing fractions. So this is one where, again, you have to take your time and be careful because it's easy to get wrong. So, but the key is getting common denominators, okay? In order to compare fractions, you have to have common denominators, unless they're fractions that you're very familiar with, okay? But when you get to fractions that you're not familiar with at all and deciding which one's bigger, it's not always as easy to figure that out, or just by looking at them, okay? So the one true way to compare fractions that you never get them wrong is to look at equivalent fractions with the same denominator. So what do I mean by that? Let me look at it. Let me give you an example. So when I look at these two fractions and I'm asked, which one's bigger? How do you know which one's bigger? Well, you may know or you may not know, okay? But how do we determine for sure with 100% certainty which one is the bigger fraction? We're going to have to get a common denominator. We got to change these two denominators so that they are the same. Okay, so we've got to find a common denominator. So, how do we do that? Well, we're going to need to multiply, right? How do we get equivalent fractions? We need to find an equivalent fraction for this one, an equivalent fraction for this one, such that the equivalent fractions have the same denominator. One easy way to do that is to multiply the denominators together. So what I can do is, okay, well, if I multiply these, what do I get? Well, 3 times 8 equals 24. Well, so that means I want 24. Well, what's the easiest way to get 24? I can multiply the top and the bottom over here by 3. Right? And I can multiply the top and bottom over here by 8. Right? Because whatever I multiply the bottom by, I have to multiply the top by to get an equivalent fraction. So that's the rule. Whatever you do to the top, you must do to the bottom. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. Okay? To keep the fraction the same. So now, what happens? Well, this one becomes what? 16 over 24, and this one equals 15 over 24. Now that they are the same kind, right? Now that they're the same kind of fraction, now all we have to do is look at the numerators, because the numerators tell us how many pieces we have. And the one with the more pieces is larger. Make sense? So this means, hey, I've got 16 24ths over here, and I've got 15 24ths over here. So that tells us that this one is greater than this one. And we're done. Okay? And by the way, this is what I call the rule of 4. Because if I multiply across this way, and then I multiply across this way, right? If I multiply across this way, I get 24. If I multiply across this way, I get 24. And then if I multiply across this way, I get 15, right? 3 times 5 is 15. And then if I multiply across this way, I get 8 times 2 is 16. So you can also use what's called the rule of 4, but it's based on just getting equivalent fractions that have the same denominator. That's it. Have a great day.